Raise your hands if you've ever used a firearm. So, a decent majority of the class. So the use of guns should be a concern of all American citizens. I mean, the right to purchase and own a firearm is written in our Constitution, so as citizens we should have a pretty good idea about this law. My focus is to stay strictly unbiased and state facts about the use of guns and gun control. Currently our nation has two opposing sides, one believing that the use of guns is not so good, the other thinking that there's nothing wrong with it. My goal is to inform everyone about factual information, kind of clear up some of the lies or myths about gun use and gun control. So in order to cover such a debated topic without being biased is to compare both sides of the argument. So 3 points to cover will be obviously the viewpoints from both sides of the argument while using statistical data in order to clear up some of the lies about gun use and gun control. And then thirdly will be how to resolve the argument between the two. So using the website procon.org, it gave me enough information to compare both of the arguments. And starting with the anti-gun supporters, they started with the idea of limiting the amount of guns in order to cut back on gun-related violence. And they've also come up with arguments that have been made that the larger increased amount of guns has contributed to the larger or more mass shootings and more homicides. People believe that stricter laws will keep the guns out of criminals' hands and cut back on gun-related violence altogether. Ideas such as banning high-capacity magazines should also potentially cut back on mass shootings. And people also believe that civilians and hunters shouldn't be able to have access to military-grade firearms. Conversely, pro-gun supporters argue that the Second Amendment protects the right to own firearms. They believe that gun control laws will not deter crime. It's the gun ownership of civilians that will deter the crime. Gun supporters state that banning assault rifles infringes upon the right for gun ownership for sport and hunting. Furthermore, people who support guns state that gun control laws will not prevent crime because criminals will get the guns either way. They'll either buy them legally or steal them. When comparing the two sides of the argument, it's clear that there needs to be factual information that can conclude the debate. So, while using the data given by AE.org, from 1993 to 2015, statistical data shows that there's been a large, can't really see it, but there's been a large increase in the amount of guns, while also a large decrease in gun-related violence. So this data is opposite of what liberal politicians and media has actually said about this topic. The argument made by the media is that there's been a continued increase in the amount of gun-related violence. But from 1993 to 2013, there has been a 56% increase in the amount of guns, but there's also been a 49% decrease in the amount of gun-related violence. So the trends displayed on this chart show that the trends displayed on this chart does not imply that the large increase in guns has been cutting down on the gun-related violence, but it is a fact that violence is going down. Even though there is factual information that informs us that the increase in guns isn't contributing to a decrease in the amount of violence, there will still be a misconception whether more guns are good or bad. So in order to resolve the argument is to kind of get a better idea of why it's impossible to keep the guns out of criminals' hands. Considering there are well over 300 million guns already in circulation in the U.S., it would be almost impossible to keep criminals from either stealing them or already buying them illegally. Background checks have been useful, but they also make it harder for law-abiding citizens to obtain a firearm for safety or sport. So buying guns illegally is done all over the world already. So if you're a criminal it's not very hard to go either buy a gun overseas or buy from a friend of yours. So either way, guns will be bought. You can't really, and you can't take away guns from individuals, because as it is right now, it's written in our Constitution that you legally can keep and own your guns. Many people believe that limiting the amount of guns will cut back on gun-related violence, but it shows that whether, getting stumped here. All right. So basically, to effectively crack down on gun-related violence is to strictly focus on criminals. It's the criminals that are doing the action, so you have to focus on cracking down on them. At the end of the day, both sides of the argument want the same result. Both sides want to cut down on gun-related violence. The only difference between the two arguments is they want to do it in different ways. Taking guns away from law-abiding citizens won't cut down on the gun-related violence. In order to further reduce gun-related violence would be to continue background checks and focus on stopping the criminal activity. So whether you're for guns or against guns, it's going to take both sides to work together in order to actually cut down on the gun violence.